Baked ziti is an Italian-American classic, especially here where I live in the Northeast, and I'm going to show you how I make mine. This is absolutely delicious, and it is so rewarding for something that I don't think takes a lot of effort. Obviously, we're going to need some tomatoes to start. I like to do a mix of crushed and just a tomato sauce. I like to keep my sauce for a baked ziti a little more liquidy because that pasta is going to absorb it. We're also going to need 1 onion diced. This is just a simple Spanish onion, but if you want to use a white or a sweet, use whatever you like in your tomato sauces, and I'm just going to push that to the side. We're going to thinly cut about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, however garlicky you would normally make just a generic tomato sauce. That's all we're making here. And now we're just going to start to saute this all together. We're going to get some olive oil into my Dutch oven. We're going to get that to a nice heat, and then we're going to get those onions nice and translucent. That should only take 2 to 3 minutes, but I'm going to just constantly keep them moving because I don't want any browning happening here. This is on a medium to high heat, and then I'm going to throw in that garlic, give that a minute or 2 until it starts to get nice and fragrant, also moving it quite rapidly to avoid browning. And then once that happens, we can add in that tomato sauce and really just let it simmer for a while. I'm going to add in both cans fully here. That one had a big chunk of garlic in it, which was interesting. Then I'm going to add in the tomato sauce. I'm going to rinse both cans out with some water, which totaled up to right around a cup of water, and then we're good to go. Salt that up, mix it for a little bit, and we're going to let that reduce for maybe half an hour. And now we got to talk pasta. I like to use these Ziti cuts by DiCecco. If you want to use a rigatoni, that's fine. They have nice ridges on the outside, but this is going to cook al dente in 9 minutes, fully cooked at 11, so I'm going to cook this for right around 7 minutes. You want it a little undercooked when it goes into your dish. We're just going to throw this into a pot. I wish I had a larger pot at the moment. This was a little bit too small for a pound of pasta, but you're barely cooking it here, 6, 7, 8 minutes. I like to really keep stirring the pasta and paying attention to it. I want to make sure it doesn't overcook, so I'm going to pull one noodle out. That's right where I want it. Nice, kind of squishy, but still hard. And now I'm just going to drain these, and we're ready to start assembling this baked ziti. I like to do it right in the pot here. I'm going to add in a bunch of the tomato sauce. I'm going to mix it all around. One of the best part about ziti or rigatoni or anything like that is the sauce is going to get into the actual noodle itself, so that's why we like to mix it up real well. And then we're going to add in somewhere between 6 and 8 ounces of ricotta. Mix that all up, and that's all you need to really prep this dish, aside from now putting it into a baking dish. You could use whatever size you want, but I'm throwing this into a 9 by 13. Some people prefer to grease their dishes, but I don't think that's necessary. I'm just going to add some of that sauce down onto the bottom, and now we're going to throw in that pasta. We're going to create one kind of like even flat layer on the bottom here. You don't want to overcrowd this first batch. Once you get it in there, just kind of pat it down, and now we're going to add cheese. I'm going to also add a little bit of sauce back onto it, but first we're going to add a good amount of mozzarella. I like to use a low moisture. Pre-diced is totally fine for this dish. I think it melts totally fine. And we're just going to add a little more sauce, and then we're going to throw in the rest of that pasta. The goal here is just to layer it as high as you can. This 9 by 13 will fit your 1 pound of pasta very easily. It can even probably fit 1.5 pounds if you want to make a bigger batch. But then I'm going to put a little more ricotta on the top with a little more of that sauce, then fully drench that in that mozzarella. Put on as much as you can, as much as you like. There's really no answer here that's too much. That's what we're looking for right there. And I'm going to throw this into an oven, preset to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm also going to put it on a baking sheet because it might bubble over, which is totally fine. That's how you get those nice crispy edges. And then we're going to throw that in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how brown it gets. Here we are. I pulled it out at 35 minutes and it was good to go. That's exactly what you're looking for right there. It is beautiful. It's browned on that cheese. You can see the tomato sauce is bubbling around the outside, so your noodles are definitely fully cooked now. We're going to let that sit and just cool off for about 10 or 15 minutes. You could dive into it right away, but I just don't think that's necessary. I'm going to throw a little bit of parsley over the top. Letting it sit for that 10 or 15 minutes also allows some of that extra liquid to be absorbed by the pasta, which is what you want. Now we're just going to cut up that nice first corner, which is always the best part. And just look at how beautiful that looks. It's cheesy. It's mixed beautifully. It's steaming hot. That cheese stays with it when you pull it out. Let's just serve this up and eat it. Obviously, it doesn't look gorgeous on a plate, but I'm just going to coat it with a little extra parm. If you want to put parm into the actual dish yourself, go right ahead. Every time you lay down like a cheese layer, throw a little parm in there. I don't think it's necessary. I like to just top it with that, but a little extra ricotta, a little extra of that parsley, and you're good to go. The taste test is the most important. This is absolutely delicious. It's one of my favorite pastas. It comes together so easily. You need a little bit of prep time, but it's not hard. It's so worth it.